The cold steel of the handcuffs bit into her wrists. Bound and standing tall, Dr. Maya Jordan faced the terminal crowd with an expression that showed neither fear nor shame. Around her, a sea of faces watched, some curious, some disgusted, some raising their phones to record the unfolding scene. Officer James Delaney's badge gleamed under the fluorescent airport lights as he pulled the cuffs one notch tighter than necessary, a petty act of control. "People like you don't belong in first class anyway," Delaney sneered loudly, ensuring the travelers nearby heard every word. Maya, a Harvard-educated attorney, philanthropist, and renowned humanitarian, met his gaze without flinching. In that single moment, there was no trace of the humiliation he intended to inflict. Delaney, puffed up with his misplaced authority, had no idea who he was dealing with. He didn't know that the black woman standing in front of him wasn't just another passenger. And he was about to find out just how catastrophic a mistake he had made. Before we dive deeper into the events of this day, if you believe in fairness, dignity, and respect for everyone, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and let us know where you're watching from. Because what happens next in Maya's story might leave you speechless. Earlier that morning, before she found herself in handcuffs at JFK International Airport, Maya Jordan had been preparing for a different kind of journey. At 34 years old, Maya carried herself with the quiet confidence of someone who had faced battles most couldn't comprehend and won. That autumn morning, in her modern but modest home outside Washington, D.C., sunlight streamed through wide windows as she carefully packed medical supplies for a humanitarian mission to South Sudan. She packed antibiotics that could save children from fatal infections. She loaded vaccines that entire communities desperately needed. Portable medical devices, paid for by her foundation, were cushioned carefully in her luggage. Each item was a lifeline to people in desperate need. Her phone rang, interrupting her focus. The custom ringtone was unmistakable, Devin. Her husband. On the screen was a photo of them, taken in Sierra Leone the year before. Despite 10 years of marriage, Devin still looked at her the same way he had back in their college days, like she was his entire world. Devin Jordan had come a long way since those days. Once a part-time baggage handler at O'Hare Airport, he'd worked night shifts to put himself through school. Against all odds, he'd mortgaged their tiny apartment to lease one plane, founding what was now Horizon Air. In 12 years, he built it into the nation's fourth-largest airline, 350 aircraft and 17,000 employees strong. "All set for your flight?" Devin's deep voice held a note of fatigue from early board meetings. "Just about," Maya replied, smiling at the sound of him. "Everything's packed. This shipment could help hundreds of children. Their clinic hasn't seen basic antibiotics in weeks. I wish I could go with you," Devin said with genuine regret. "But the investors are finalizing the Nairobi route. I need to be here." She laughed softly. "You'll be there for the school opening next month. That's the more joyful mission anyway. I've asked Marcus to meet you before your connecting flight in Paris," Devin added. Marcus, Horizon's regional director in Europe, had insisted on handling the logistics personally. "You didn't have to do that," Maya said, though she appreciated the gesture. "I can handle a connection. I know you can, but I'd rather not take any chances." That was life married to Devin Jordan. Despite being the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar airline, he never forgot where they came from. And despite being the wife of a CEO, Maya preferred to fly like everyone else, commercially, often in economy class. But today, Devin had insisted on a first-class seat. The long-haul flight to Paris, followed by a connection to Juba, South Sudan, was no small undertaking. The black sedan pulled up outside their home. It wasn't a limousine. Devin knew Maya would have refused, but a modest car driven by Thomas, a family friend they'd known for years. Maya double-checked her passport, foundation identification, and vaccination records before taking a deep breath and stepping into the car. As the vehicle approached JFK International, sunlight glinted off the terminal's steel and glass. Maya felt the familiar mix of anticipation and resolve. These trips always came with challenges, but she was ready. What she wasn't ready for was the challenge she'd face before even boarding the plane. At the Horizon Air check-in counter, Maya presented her passport and first-class ticket for the Paris flight. The agent, a young man named Brett, glanced between Maya and his computer screen. "First class to Paris?" Brett asked, emphasizing the words as if they were somehow improbable. "Are you sure about that?" Maya smiled politely, used to the insinuation. "Yes, C2A. Confirmed." She slid the confirmation toward him. His fingers tapped the keyboard, but his skeptical expression remained. "And how will you be paying for any excess baggage or onboard purchases?" "I'm well within the first-class allowance," Maya replied calmly. At the adjacent counter, a white businessman wearing a crumpled suit was greeted warmly by another agent. "Good morning, sir. Flying to London today? Let's get you checked in so you can relax in a lounge. No questioning. No doubt. No second glances." Maya collected her boarding pass and headed toward security, prepared to put the exchange behind her. That's when she first saw Officer James Delaney. Officer Delaney was 46, with a buzz cut and a swagger that spoke volumes. He directed passengers with a casual arrogance. A white family? Express lane. A group of business travelers? Priority screening. An elderly Asian couple looking confused? He barked at them impatiently. Maya approached the expedited screening lane, ticket and passport ready. Delaney stepped in her path. "Regular screening is that way, ma'am," he said, pointing toward a crowded line with a 30-minute wait. "I have priority access," Maya replied, showing her first-class boarding pass. Delaney didn't even glance at it. "We need to verify that." "Step aside." Maya kept her voice even. "I noticed you didn't verify the passengers before me. I'm requesting the same treatment." "You accusing me of something?" Delaney's tone darkened. "I'm making an observation," Maya replied. Karen Mitchell, the terminal operations supervisor, approached. "Is there a problem?" Maya explained, her words precise. "I'm being denied access to priority screening. Others with the same credentials were allowed through." Karen's response was textbook deflection. "Officer Delaney is following protocol." "What protocol?" Maya pressed. Karen shifted uncomfortably. "Security algorithms." Maya raised a brow. "Random selection?" "Because this doesn't feel random." Karen's warning was clear. Questioning procedures can itself be flagged as suspicious. Delaney smirked. "You've been selected for additional screening." Maya was led to a secondary screening area, isolated and in plain view. The humiliation was public by design. Delaney snapped on latex gloves with exaggerated slowness. "Open your carry-on," he ordered. As Maya complied, Delaney pawed through her belongings with inappropriate scrutiny. When he reached the medical supplies, his skepticism turned condescending. "That's a lot of meds," he said. "You selling these?" "They're donations," Maya replied, producing documentation. "For a refugee camp in South Sudan." Delaney barely glanced at the papers. "Most people take vacations. Guess this is your idea of fun." "It's humanitarian work," Maya said, her patience thinning. "In first class." Delaney snorted. "That's rich." The comment was designed to sting. Maya took a steadying breath. "My travel arrangements are irrelevant to security." Delaney's expression darkened. He leaned in closer. "You know what I've noticed? Not people like you." There it was. Naked prejudice. Maya's voice was unwavering. "I want to speak to your supervisor." "She's busy." "Then I'll speak to hers." "You're interfering with security." "That's a federal offense." Maya remained calm. "You people always think you know your rights," Delaney barked. "You people," Maya repeated, the words hanging in the air like poison. Karen Mitchell pretended not to hear. Delaney smirked, emboldened. "Difficult passengers miss flights. Sometimes they end up on no-fly lists." "Are you threatening me for requesting equal treatment?" Delaney didn't answer. Instead, he appended her carefully packed medical supplies. "Oops." That was the moment Maya made her decision. "I'd like to make a call before you arrest me," she said, reaching for her phone. "No phone calls." "I haven't been arrested yet," Maya replied. "I still have rights." Delaney gestured dismissively. "Fine." Maya dialed Devon. "I need you at Terminal 4, Checkpoint C. Officer James Delaney is attempting to arrest me on false charges." Delaney rolled his eyes. Husband coming to the rescue. Within 30 minutes, everything changed. Airport directors were alerted. Security supervisors received frantic calls. Kara Mitchell's radio buzzed constantly. Release her. Now, came the order from Lieutenant Henry Diaz. Delaney scoffed. Why? Because her husband is Devin Jordan, Diaz hissed. And you're standing in his terminal. Delaney's face drained of color. Devin Jordan entered the terminal moments later, flanked by Horizon's legal team. Malcolm Williams had his moment. Devin Jordan was about to have his. Maya was released, and Devin examined her wrists with quiet fury. Then he turned to Delaney. You handcuffed my wife and told her people like her don't belong, Devin said coldly. You will be held accountable. Over the following hours, investigations were launched, policies rewritten, and Officer Delaney was suspended. Maya, ever the advocate, insisted on reforms: body cameras, independent oversight, anti-bias training. 6 months later, JFK's Terminal 4 was transformed. Maya passed through security on her way to another mission, greeted warmly by staff who respected her. No special treatment, just fairness. And there was James Delaney, now working in community relations, humbled and changed. Miss Jordan, he greeted her. Thank you for everything. She nodded. Everyone deserves first-class respect. If you found this story powerful, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next story, where justice, compassion, and courage make all the difference.